Hi folks, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. Now you know that 2 weeks ago I was at the launch of the Model Y down in Southern California, Hawthorne. While I was down there I got up to something else, and I have to tell you, I think I discovered a new Tesla. So before we start, here's a quick quiz. See how you do on this one. Alright, that wasn't too difficult. For those of you who think that the answer was Elon Musk, I'm sorry, you're wrong. A little later in the video, we'll come to the correct answer, but let's start on a different note. You know, one of the things that kind of concerns me a little about driving the Model 3 is the fact that I really never want to get out of it. Now, I'm sure some of you have found exactly that. You love it. The seat's comfortable, the music is good, the ambience is fantastic, and you know if you go in the house, your wife has got that to-do list she's going to show you, or your husband. So one of the things that we struggle with is getting out of the car. And unfortunately, that leads to obesity, heart attack down the road. So one of the things, of course, that we have to do is to exercise. And here in Vancouver, as spring has now sprung and thoughts turn to all kinds of outdoor activities, I noticed an ad for the BC Bike Show. And I decided that I may as well go take a look, and of course obviously with Fred Lambert on Electrek publishing new reviews of bikes almost every day, I was interested in going to look at the bikes, especially going to look at the electric bikes. So on the Saturday the 2nd of March, I headed for Vancouver and I went to the BC Bike Show. It was, unfortunately, like every show. Too many objects on display, too many people moving around, too many salesmen telling you what you should and shouldn't buy. It did, however, give me a good overview of the fact that electric bikes are taking over. We have this thing called serendipity, and it basically means that two interesting things happened at the same time. And the serendipity in my life was that at the same time I attended the BC Bike Show, I went back into my comment sections of the previous video, which was the top 10 reasons to buy a Model 3. Now, most of you who've been following the channel for any length of time will know that I almost make it an obsessive practice to answer everyone's comment, excepting for the really nasty, cruel ones, and I just delete those. And so I went back to have a look if I'd done my due diligence, and I discovered that in one case I hadn't. And there was a comment from a fellow by the name of Sean, and basically he said, listen, I run and own the electric bike company, and I'd really be interested to know, would you ever want to review our bikes? You can see my responses here, but the long and the short of it was that he agreed to ship a bike up to Vancouver. My review will be based upon exactly how I experienced it and exactly what I felt and how it felt to me. So after I'd replied to Sean, I was pretty curious and I did a bit of Googling, and I came across this very interesting phrase. And the phrase was, "This is the Tesla of electric bikes." Now at that, my ears pricked up. The Tesla of electric bikes. What do we associate with Tesla? Well, I associate innovation, I associate power, strength, speed, I associate a cool factor with it, but basically it's quality. It's quality of design, quality of materials, quality of workmanship. So if this bike was anything like a Tesla, the Tesla of electric bikes, I figured I was going to enjoy it. So not long, and I got a notification that the bike was arriving at my home. Here it is, an electric bike from the Electric Bike Company. Fragile, this end up, do not lay flat. Now, how to get that into the house without severely annoying Dragon Lady. We'll do it. It kind of dwarfs the kitchen. We can't leave it here. How about dining room? Alright, that looks about right. Still enough room to eat. We'll unpack this after lunch.
Oh my goodness!
Let's take a first look at the Red Dragon bike. Is it front or back? Is it?
This is the front.
This is the front. This is Red Dragon bike. Just the red of Red Dragon. So the first thing you see when you open the box is the front of the bike. At least you see that if you've opened the right end. It comes fully assembled. It's all shrink wrapped and covered, but the bike is assembled. We need to go around to the back where we have to lift the bike off its cradle and then push it forward. So you can see that the bike is covered in styrofoam. At least it's packed with styrofoam to prevent it from bumping into the sides. And down the bottom, it's resting in a styrofoam cradle. So we're just going to lift the bike up and push it forward. Most important step, get the kickstand out so the bike doesn't fall over. And there she stands, and now we can start to look at all the packing, strip it, clean the bike, and let's see what we have to do with the battery. I'm going to take off some of the wrapping and get things loosened up so I can get to straighten the handlebars. And we need to find an Allen key. Perhaps it comes with it, we'll see. But let's get the wrapping off. So when we open up the little package, we get some key fobs, the actual starter key, and then we've got a whole whack of cable ties. And then there are the Allen keys, screwdriver, and other tools that you'll need. So what I'm going to do now is get to read the instructions and see how to straighten that wheel and how to tighten it up. Press the up arrow or the down arrow to change the power. At the moment it's set on 2, so I'm going to up arrow 3, 4, and 5 is the maximum. Well, first right, I'll bring it down to 2. We can increase it every time we go out, but 2 is a good starting point. One thing missing in this control box over here is the fart app. This is the one that guys seem to like, and with Jillian sitting in the passenger seat. It doesn't appear to be a fart app, but there does appear to be a fart channel right down the middle. the plan was to go to Stanley Park, which is the jewel of Vancouver. It's kind of like the green lung. It's kind of like Central Park in New York. Not quite as big, but Stanley Park is world-renowned and it's beautiful. And the nice thing it has is a seawall and a bike track all the way around the outside, which amounts to about a 10-kilometer ride. So on the Saturday, Jillian and I went out because none of you want to see an old guy riding an electric bike. So my daughter Jillian was very happy to help out. And so she took the bike, which was great because she'd never actually driven an electric bike before. And you'll be interested to hear her conclusions as well. Interesting thing, the bike fits in the car. So the Red Dragon bike, and by the way, yes, I ordered a Red Dragon bike, or I ordered a red bike, which I now call the Red Dragon bike. And it fitted in the back of the car once I'd taken off the bike's front wheel. Here is some of the activity as Jillian drove it around, pushed it around, and at the end of it, she'll give you her conclusions and what she thought of it. Well, we're in Stanley Park. We're up to Prospect Point, a famous lighthouse, and the Tesla of electric bikes, electric bike company Beach Cruiser.
found that the bike felt quite heavy to push, more so than a regular bike. But once you're riding and you're on the bike, it feels completely normal. I enjoyed that when I was going uphill, it was basically effortless. I just put my finger on the accelerator a little bit and I was zooming past everybody else. It was much easier starting on a hill with an electric bike because you don't have to put the effort into starting to pedal. You just, push the accelerator and then you're zooming up the hill so easily. I enjoyed pedaling it like a regular bike because there's that exercise element to it. But when it got a little harder, maybe going uphill, or if I was getting tired, it was nice to just add a little bit of acceleration in there. Acceleration was pretty much immediate. You have to be quite sensitive with the trigger, but as soon as you start pushing, it reacts quite quickly. So I mean, like anything electric, you have to get used to how fast you accelerate, how smoothly you accelerate. I was riding the Model C. The Model S is the step-through version. I had a few people stop me and comment on the bike. They really liked the color, and I told them it was electric, and they were really impressed with that. But yeah, people seemed to really be intrigued by it. I like that I could adjust the height of the handlebars. It made it very easy to set them in a position that was quite comfortable for me, and the saddle was very, very cushioned. So I could have rode for hours.
So that was great, but as Steve Jobs was fond of saying, there's one more thing. And so the one more thing was that I got this wonderful invitation to go down to California and to see the unveiling of the Model Y. And I uploaded 3 videos of that event. If you haven't seen them, do go and take a look. Very interesting car. So while I was down in Southern California, I decided that why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Why not go to the unveiling, but why not go and see Sean from the electric bike company, have a tour of the factory, sit down for him with an interview, and really get to know what makes him tick and what he thinks is special about the bike. So that's what I did. I went down a day early. I went to stay with Sean. You're going to find it fascinating. And the way I've done my videos in the past, it's to go into a fair amount of detail, but so that you can understand the process. So that those who are not really very familiar with electric bikes and the terminology and all of the technology, this video will be an immense help to you. So come with me now as we head down to Sean's place in Newport Beach. And yes, that's the correct answer to the question, who do all these facts refer to? They refer to Sean Lupton-Smith, the owner and the founder of Electric Bike Company. And yes, he managed to snag that very cool web address. Electric Bike Company kind of sounds generic, but the opportunity came up and he grabbed it. Here I am now at Newport Beach, and we'll meet Sean, and then we'll take a factory tour, and we'll give you a lot of information that will educate all of us about electric bikes, how they work, how they run, what to look for, and I think you're going to enjoy this. 7 years ago you started.
Yes, 7 years we started the Electric Bike Company.
If you would like to support the channel, there's a very simple way. Use my referral code when you order a Tesla. Doesn't matter which Tesla you order. Model Y doesn't count because it isn't available yet, but if you just use my code, it helps me. You get 1,500 kilometers in Canada or 1,000 miles of free supercharging, and I get the same on my end. So thanks again. See you next time.